August 17th. Roll the bones. Sitting in the kitchen, sipping on her coffee, Velvet looked at her husband. I see Sonata's very excited this morning. Drinking from his own mug, Knight agreed. Is it bad that this is the first time we've heard this, and yet we know what's going on? Somehow, when I agreed to take in our nieces, I hadn't expected this. Velvet said, smiling lightly. Somehow, when we agreed to watch over them, I didn't expect they'd be our nieces. I had. Point. Sure enough, a second later, she rushed into the kitchen, bouncing up and down so she was Pinkie Pie. I won! I won! She rushed over and gave her aunt and uncle kisses, dancing around the table for all she was sort of, I won! I won! That's nice, dear. Velvet said with a warm smile. Somehow, she was both amused by the girl's antics, while at the same time long used to them. She didn't bother question how the novelty of the former contrasted with the incomprehensible familiarity of the latter. Care to clarify before you burst any more eardrums? The teen had the good grace to bless. Sorry. She said as she walked over to the coffee maker. I want to hang out with the twins contest, she screamed emphatically. I get to hang out with Mint and Milk. The Chocolate Twins? Isn't that show you watch on Nickelodeon? I asked. No, Nickelodeon is for kids, Uncle Knight. The teen reminded him, but I thought, no, they have a new show on YouTube. Hanging with the Twins is for teenagers, not for kids. They go into a lot more stuff that's relevant to me now. Besides, I'm grown up now. I wouldn't watch kids shows anymore. Says the girl with the Philly Fantasia pajamas. Velvet asked, pointing to her niece's sleep pants. Sadao blushed once more in response. It's okay, sweetie. I know this isn't easy for you. I don't think this is easy for any of us, Sadao admitted. I know you weren't expecting to have the three of us. It's an adjustment for all of us, I told her. But it doesn't mean we don't want you around. You three needed a family, and now you have one. Sadao gave him a loving smile, then said, I guess I should go start working on breakfast, since we're going to have a lot of hungry girls waking up in a couple of hours. Velvet smiled, settled up to her niece. I think we could do it together, can't we? Sadao looked at her with astonishment, before it changed to acknowledgement. We always do have Velvet, she said, overcome with brief emotion. That's what we do. Also an hour later, and after extensive cooking by Sonata, who turned out to be fairly familiar with the kitchen, Sunset in the air slaced around the large table of the dining room, which was the only one in the house with enough capacity for a baker's dozen worth of girls. But I do believe I could spare some time preparing Kelty for house Patty. I don't know how long she'll be here, Rarity said for Sunset. If you don't mind conjuring up what I need, then I can start right after breakfast. She went to Shimmer. Of course, if there's anything you need as well, Shimmer dear, please don't hesitate to ask. I appreciate the offer, Shimmer replied. I might do just that. Well, I got to stay, Rainbow said, but I got Summer Soccer League today, and I gotta get some game time in. Well, you guys do anything afterwards. Don't forget to include me, okay? Yeah, well, as I recall, I promised Mel I'll take him to the movies today, Elzak said. Probably should get to know my little brother, especially since he wasn't around the last reality. Really makes me appreciate the family more. I should probably spend time with my little brother as well, Fresh admitted. Do you mind if I go get him and we tag along? No problem. For all we know, they might as well know each other. I don't have any plans today, but I think I'll help out Velvet around the house. Arya chimed in. As far as I know, we don't have maid service, so it would be fair to have her do everything. You might be doing it entirely by yourself, Octavia sighed. Remember that I have my therapist appointment today, and Aunt Velvet's going to be taking me. Taking us, Twilight insisted. I'm not letting you go alone. That makes two of us, Adachi agreed. Given what's happened the past few times. The eldest Triple decided to leave it at that. She saw the heart-sick look on Octavia's face and said, This is going to happen, Tavi. You know we won't let it. Easy for you to say. You're not the insane one. Neither are you, so please don't say that, okay? Said I asked. You're just going through a rough time right now, Tavi, but you have all of us. We're not going to let you down. Yeah, Octavia says, and a long smile came to her face. Yeah, I should know that. Thanks for reminding me, Sonny.
Oh, before I forget, I want to hang you with the twins contest. I want an all-expense paid trip for me and two guests to go to Disneyland next week and be on our YouTube show. Isn't that a blast?
So there, family friends.
You're all going to come with me, right?
Apparently you don't know how to count, Arya drawled. That's 2 people, not 13. Don't worry about it, Sonny, Shimmer told her. I can take care of us. And the least I can do to spend time with my friends. You sure? Sunset asked her. That's a bit over the top, Shimmy. It's okay, Sonny. I don't mind. And I think my mom wouldn't have a problem with it, came the answer.
Yeah, plus if she didn't, I'm sure my dad would have insisted since we had the clarification short. Well, at least in this timeline at least.
Fresh Eye added. Plus, that way we'll all have some time to hang together before school starts, and Shimmy heads back home. Sunset told her, as it is, after school starts, Pinky and I have to work at the main store while everyone else runs the pop-up stand at the fair.
You sure? Pinky asked her. All because so you don't have to come back to work until you got all your personal stuff sorted out.
By then, the personal stuff should be sorted out. Besides, I promised her I'd do it. I think. Now, with Sunset starting to have an infant upstairs, yeah, I'm pretty sure I promised her last week. Well, last week in this reality at any rate. Besides, we talked about it yesterday before we went over to your place. Well, let's all talk later today, okay? Twilight suggested. I think going along with Sunny to support her favorite celebrities would be nice. And I'm sure we'd probably have fun. Everyone else agreed happily. When Sunset decided to usher Raspberry, Shimmer, and Rarity up towards her room, and she saw Pinky try to flag her down. Yes, Pinky? Pinky blushed and started visiting, and at that moment Sunset knew she was going to be in for one of those awkward situations again. And it didn't help things further as the second layer, caught-handed girl buried her face in Sunset's bosom. Oop! Are you okay? Sunset asked her.
No, I couldn't sleep last night, Pinky admitted. Kept having nightmares about your death.
Pinky sighed. Sunset sighed. Pinky, we discussed this repeatedly, okay? I'm fine. It was awkward. Not like honestly, but I'm okay.
No, we didn't,
Pinky sobbed, voice muffled curiously of Sunset's now tear-soaked shirt.
I was the girl I loved die, and not just in a Rarity on her fainting couch in her bedroom way.
She finally looked up. Her red-rimmed eyes showed a look of unyielding sorrow. Her hair began to straighten as she said,
I was your body, your dead body fell into nothingness. Do you know what it did to your sister, to me?
I thought only Twilight had to see that.
Real life, maybe, but dreams, you know how they can be.
Pinky shuddered, wrapping her arms around herself. Pinky. Boldly, Pinky raised up and caressed Sunset's face.
How do I know this is really the same cyan eyes I get lost in? Those listless lips I want to kiss. That gorgeous body I want to...
Pinky stopped speaking at that point, which didn't make Sunset feel too comfortable as the girl started drilling. Pinky?
Oh, well, fantasizing a bit.
Pinky made a girl's giggle. You know I'm right here.
I know you're perfect. Because you're literally divine now. A lot taller now, and a body that makes me want to melt.
The thought made Sunset wince. Despite Pinky claiming she would get her magically overlaid feelings under control, she wasn't doing so easily.
You're just so...
Do I really want to know? Sunset asked, more for herself than her friend.
Boysenberry body oil with cream. Yummy.
Pinky!
Sorry, again.
A near full-body blush fell to Pinky as she reluctantly let Sunset go. I know.
Anyway,
Pinky began as she started nervously tapping her index fingers together, as if hoping they'd be caught in a Chinese finger trap.
I was going to ask...
I know what you're going to ask, Sunset sighed. She knew this was going to come sooner or later. Pinky, we discussed this.
No, we didn't. Not about this. Trust me, I'm good at looking for loopholes.
Look, I'm flattered, okay? Sunset gave her friend the most disarming smile, the kind she used to turn down several guys in the past. And now that things had changed for her, she knew it was probably going to come back to a heavy rotation once more. Pinky, I love you, dearly as a friend, but nothing more. It's not in me, and I don't want you to pine after someone you can't have.
Can't deny me this, Pinky told Sunset. Please don't deny me this.
Pinky, Sunset didn't know what to say.
Just once, for me.
I can't answer that.
I know. But you got her tiptoes and kiss Sunset on the cheek. But please think about it. Besides, going on a date with me might be fun. Bonus, once Rose finds out, she'll love for use.
Are you doing this because you want to go out with me, or because it'll make Rose annoyed?
Look on me, look on me. Pinky man, look, I gotta go home and get ready for work. Just please think about it, okay?
No promises, Pinky.
I know, part of why I love you.
With that, Pinky Sprout runs upstairs to grab her backpack so she can head home. You know, you have a really interesting life, Zimmer told her twin. Maybe I should be glad I don't live in town. My friends and I get into no trouble without one of them having feelings for me. Lucky you. Want to trade lives? Simmer giggled. You thought you've taken mine here. What more do you want, Miss Grady?
I'm glad you came to meet me for breakfast outside the school setting, Waddle began. I had to offer to take you out to lunch during the work week, but I'm sure you're quite busy. Besides, I've had my summer busy spending time with my daughter and son-in-law, pestering them for a new grandchild.
You mean you haven't killed Sabra yet? Celestia laughed. A friend already told her how he and his wife had first met.
Oh, I assure you, it took me forever to forgive that young reprobate for what he did.
Waddle Mac growled, adjusting his glasses.
Thankfully, he's proven to be every bit as a gentleman the Marine Corps being to him. But enough about Sabra. We're here to talk about you.
About me?
He nodded. I have decided to retire at the end of the year, and after some consultations with both the county board as well as the mayors of some of the cities, they decided to appoint core curriculum as my replacement.
I see. Celestia had met the woman a few times and thought she was too focused on standardized tests, rather than actual mastery of the subject. One attempted to agree with her sister's point of view, and thankfully they were not in the curriculum school cluster. It did, however, make life miserable for the schools that were. Waddle chuckled.
I know what you're thinking. She's too focused on testing standards. Well, and I actually agree with you, but I'm not allowed to select my replacement. I can, however, still fill in the positions that will be empty before I depart. And that's why I intended to you.
He visited with his glasses once more, then looked at her with really nice, focused on her lilac ones.
This will be your last year, Captain Heist here. After the year's over, your new duties will be that of Assistant Superintendent, taking over curriculum's area. Cluster 2.
Celestia was quiet for several moments. Some months that Waddle laughed.
Seemed to cut you for a loss of words. Well, wonders never cease.
I don't know what to say. I'm honored, Waddle, really am, but I can't take Cluster 2.
Oh, I know about your boyfriend, so that shouldn't be a problem. Sabra was concerned about that as well, given how long you two have been friends. In any case, I've spoken to Textbook, and he's agreed to take the blanks into Cluster 3, as a result of conflict of interest. And since CHS is a Cluster 1, you won't be overseeing Luna.
But what about CHS itself?
I thought you had some concerns about that, and I don't blame you. You've run that school like royalty, I dare say. Well, I think it's time that Luna should learn to stretch her monofocal wings, don't you? I know she's been interested in the principal slot at Bella Vista, but Guiding Hand's probably going to stay on for another year. CHS will need a principal soon. As for a vice principal, well, that one I'll leave up to curriculum, but I'm sure she'll want your and Luna's input on that.
I see. Celestia wasn't sure what else to say. Being promoted out of Camelot High was not expected during a quick working breakfast. Furthermore, given everything she'd been through, she probably felt that she had to watch out for Sunset and her friends, something she couldn't do as easily as she had no easy access to them.
I know your interpretation about it, but I think you're the one for the job, if you ask me. Besides, it's either you or Bookwise, and between you and me, just really had the flair or passion for education that you do. Sometimes I wonder if you went into education looking for something other than the futures of his students. But you don't really get as far as he has without caring a little bit, so...
The old man shrugged and said,
In any case, please consider taking it. I wouldn't make the offer if I didn't think you were the best. And the Cluster County Unified School District and its student body needs the best in place to steer them towards the future.
I'll think about it, Celestia said.
That's all I ask. Just let me know before the school year starts. I'll have to have an answer for the board by then.
Celestia may have managed to make it back to her car before she breathed a nervous sigh of relief. It was a chance of a lifetime. Not just for her, but Luna as well. And was saying so much about her life to give her a chance to soar even higher in academia. But it also means she wouldn't be there to protect Sunsets and the others anymore, as he had grown to care about them in the past year, more so than just the standard educator-student relationship. Oliver knew that she was probably going beyond the bounds when it came to the girls, but she cared enough about them to want them to succeed more than just school life. Because in many ways, the future of Earth rode on the success of Sunset Shimmer and the others. It was that success that Celestia knew she had to make sure that she was there to aid and mentor them in every way she could. Regardless of what she chose, she knew she had to be there for them. Because while teaching a student was only for a short period, mentoring was for a lifetime. And she knew her life was inexorably linked to that with Sunset Shimmer and the others. May's son Celestia wonders she was somehow always supposed to be that way. And so, it'd be one hell of a cosmic joke. In a clinic on the west side of Character Lot, a teleconference was in progress. Both in a room with the clinic where it was happening, as well as a second location on the other side of the world. Was a blank room with two people in it, and on the screen hell was unfolding. Now, Octavia, the woman began, go fuck yourself. While you're at it, you can fuck me too. The look on the girl's face was practically demonic. Now, call me by name. Fine, Melody, the woman said, sitting down in a chair across from the teen. Now untie me, you cunt, Melody demanded. Unless you like me taking me this way, I like it enough. The evil look never left the psychiatrist's face. Melody, I want to know what you want. You know I want it to be so obvious. Why won't you tell me then? The psychiatrist asked calmly. I want you to lick me till I come, Melody replied, a sneer on her face. Now I want you to find a way to kill that prissy little bitch Octavia, so I can have what's rightfully mine. In the observation room, Velvet, Twilight, and the Triple sat silently while on screen, a world away, Evening held a teary ballad to his side. How could this happen? He asked Velvet. I wish I could give you an answer. Velvet told him. Is there anything you might be aware of on your side? Ballad Connor and her sisters lost in their tone. You mean you're just mental illness, my family? I didn't want to say that and make you think, Never, I understand what you meant. Perhaps, maybe there's some sort of mental illness in my family, Ballad admitted. I've certainly told you everything about my mother and sister's act. I don't think that's it, Ballad. You would have known something by now. If only because they would have believed you about it. I hate to say it, sweetheart, but Velvet's right. Evening noted. It would have been mentioned time and time again if it ran in your family. If they knew about this, your sisters would have had a field day. I know, Ballad sobbed. I just want my baby to be okay again. Night and I'll do everything we can, Velvet insisted. We know, Velvet, it's just Toffee's our daughter. And we know we haven't done right by her as we could. Oh, Velvet, Adati Amelia interrupted. You might want to watch what's going on screen. The look on the eldest triplet's face was a nod down to niece she knew, didn't quite know, had always known, but instead the uncanny stare of a siren. As Velvet turned her focus to the camera feed of what was going on in the room, she saw Aldrich was holding Octavia down. Somehow she managed to break through the straps holding her and blast out the psychiatrist. What did you fuckers do? The teen railed. Everything's changed. You changed time. How the fuck did you do that? Velvet forced herself to keep the shock of look on her face. What the? Miss Melody, I assure you are mistaken. There's no possible way to change time, as you so cleverly put it. I get it. This is one of those the dead stay dead type of things, and the living stay living, and sometimes when you get these separate anomalies, sometimes a new life can be born, but the dead don't come back. Bullshit! The teen turned to the camera. As he no one was there, no one knew. It was just a carefully hidden one. There was burning heat in the eyes, and emeraldic rays that were contouring the face of the girl they all loved. I know you're there, all of you. I don't know what you did, but you did this to protect your prissy little cunt from me. It's not gonna happen. This is my body, and I will kill her. Do you understand me? The orderly forced Melody down, but she laughed viciously. Nothing you do will stop me. You hear me? Nothing! The psychiatrist called out. When I count to 10, you'll enter a deep sleep. When you awaken in 20 minutes, you'll be gone and activity will return. I guess you will. I own this body now, and I'll do what I want. The psychiatrist counted down, slowly but surely from 10 to 1. As he did, Melody stopped thrashing as the preset mental succession sank in. As he reached 1, there was nothing more than a dozing teenager, looking completely at peace for all that had just occurred. Administer 200 milligrams of Marlison to her, then let her sleep for a bit. The psychiatrist told the elderly, "End the feed when she wakes up. I'm going to talk to the others." A few seconds later, the door opened, and a very sickened psychiatrist came in, running a hand through her hair. You know that sad part about all this is? I used to love horror films when I was younger. The Exorcist was one of my all-time favorites. After today, I'm probably going to have to reconsider my taste. She went over and poured herself a cup of coffee. Right about now, a sensible practitioner would be suggesting you seek an inpatient stay for Octavia, probably a Horseshoe Bay psychiatric center. Chris. Velvet began. On the other end of the line, she could hear Bella gasp. But the woman gave a wan smile. I said a sensible one. My husband would be the first to say I'm not sensible. She chuckled, took a drink of her coffee. Just like I didn't give up on my feelings for Sombra when it was common sense to do so, I'm not going to give up on Octavia. I think she's a fighter, and I think she could beat this. She just needs the right help. And between you and me, sending her to an inpatient stay at a psychiatric center is hardly what I call the sort of help. Will my baby be okay? Ballard asked her. It may take a while. It may take years, Ballard, the psychiatrist admitted. At the risk of being honest, there might come a time when it'll be her husband that'll be the one to aid her, and not you. But I'm confident she will overcome this. I've seen worse in my professional career. How much loss? I've been asked by the county to evaluate the dead hand killers. Obviously, professional rules prevent me from giving details, but from a layman's point of view, those are 3 seriously fucked up girls, and Octavia's clearly nowhere near that gone. Trust me, that girl's a fighter, and I'm going to give her a fighting chance. Now, what the plan is that I'm going to up her dose of Modasan for the moment. Given that she states made her lethargic at times, I'm also going to prescribe 5 milligrams of Casafonosic. It's an anti-fatigue and should help regulate her bear. She looked at everyone in the room, then dosed at the screen. I'll be honest, this is going to be an uphill battle. The idea is not well understood due to media portrayals. There's a definite prejudice against her. She's going to need every bit of your support. She's got it, Dwight said without hesitation. The triplets said nothing as they all nodded as one. I'm glad to hear that. Now I'll be right back. I need to make some quick system of entries so that way we can get the ball rolling on this. But also allow me, if you'll permit, to discuss the case with someone far more familiar with DID than I am. This caught Bowser's attention. Oh? The doctor nodded. He's a psychiatrist that lives up in Oregon. Apparently he was a wonder kid in his native Britain. But his daily practice was cut short by a horrible accident, so he turned to teaching. Furthermore, he still does extensive research on mental states, giving lectures on several conferences. I met him a couple of times, and he's always been helpful. Sir, if I bring the case up to him, he might be able to give me some suggestions on additional treatment. I just need your permission. Evening was quick. You have it, doctor. Good. I'll call Dr. Fix tomorrow. Now, excuse me, I'll give you all some time to talk amongst yourselves as to what to do next. That way I can also submit the prescription to get Octavia for you. She should be starting soon. With that, she departed. Velvet and the girls spoke with Octavia's parents for several minutes, assuring that she would be taken care of. While they, of course, completely trusted Velvet, the fact was they were Octavia's parents and thus deeply worried. Finally, they needed to get off the conference call and look at the heartbreak and worry in Ballard's eyes. Velvet knew very well. It's the look of a mother terrified to learn her daughter was one step from a meat grinder. There was nothing she could do about it. In a time that no longer existed, thankfully so, Velvet had the same look on her face when she watched Sunset fight against impossible odds. It bothered her to see that look on her face to her sister-in-law. But this time, Velvet could do something about it. She had to. She failed both Twilight and Octavia before. Now she had a chance to make up for it. She knew. Velvet turned to look at Adagio, looked at the sleeping girl with an uneasy look. Dazi, Twilight said in a warning tone. Twilight, don't, okay? I'm not talking about Tavi. We're family, I love her dearly, you know that. Hell, even in a time that wasn't. Is that what we're calling it now? Sonata chimed in. Sonny, not now, okay? The fact that Tavi's alter ego knows what happens should be worrisome. The eldest siren commented, Sir, it sounds like crazy rambling. No offense intended, obviously, but it could turn out to bite us in the ass if we're not careful. We're going to be on guard for this. Tavi's not a threat, Twilight said, standing up to Adagio. I know she's not, Twilight. But given everything we've been through, in a sense, do you want to go through it again? Because if Sunny's right, there are still things out there that could push hard against Sunny. And if Melody, CC chose to finger quotes, says the wrong thing at the wrong time, we could be in trouble. I trust Tavi with my life, but I don't trust this Melody persona. Twilight's got a point though, sis. We have to make sure that Tavi knows we're safe around her. Arya advised, and I for one want to make sure she knows. Thank you, girls, Velvet said, somewhat relieved. On the other side of the building, the doctor approached her secretary. Flowerpot, get a prescription into the pharmacy for Miss Melody. Upper doses to 250 milligram monoson, as well as 5 milligram of Casavant. Flowerpot looked at her boss. Isn't that a bit much? Yeah, we got a bad one here. Also, do me a favor and call Damascus College. See if you can arrange a conference call later in the week between myself and Dr. Fix. I suspect I'm going to need his advice on this one. I'm sure. But if it's that bad, so you turn it over to Horseshoe Bay? Not on your life, Talapot. Doing so means giving up, and you know I don't do that. Flowerpot chuckled and nodded. Guess not. Anyway, I have you here. I call on line 1. Sir's calling about the leftover bills for February incidents. Alright, those, the doctor said with distaste. Yeah, I guess on those. Dora and I billing those girls after what happened to them. But I guess I don't have a choice, do I? You're a shrinks, Chris, not a miracle worker. Yeah, I guess. She walked to her doctor and picked up the phone. Yes, this is Dr. Chris O'Banner, she said with resignation.